Good day din Amanda. I am Kristen Macy Esperanza of MPA 1Y2-8 of modular class, and I will be discussing about executive leadership and supervisory development. Chapter 2, Communications Part 2, Electronic Communications, Research, Meetings, Memoranda, Business Letters, and Reports. So digital communication advantages and disadvantages. A. Mass media advantages. Mass media including television, radio, newspapers, and news magazine is of great significance in disseminating information concerning the environmental and health. Local, national, and international media alert their audiences to a variety of environmental problems and the potential health effects on people. Next, mass media becomes an excellent source of environmental and health education, which may be very effective. Next, mass media also pursues urgent and current environmental and health problems, and it also keeps the public updated about current problems and contributes to the campaigns of citizens and civic groups. Radio is an excellent tool, especially in rural areas. So, mass media is excellent for presenting short but frequent information. It can give information about solutions. B. Mass media disadvantages caused by politicians and others giving false statements that are anti-science to the media. These have a profound negative effect not only on the people receiving the message but also the entire population. Environmental journalists are specialized reporters who have significant trainings in the various sciences. These environmental reporters look at the environmental problems related to health in considerable depth and are able to gather the necessary data concerning a specific issue. And they can be extreme of value to operating environmental and health departments and should be constantly given highly accurate information from the various governmental agencies to avoid having improper or false information on communities. Social media advantages. Social media is a combination of websites, apps, and platforms that enable sharing information by the individuals or group on the internet. So the information may be verbal, visual, graphics, streaming of events, etc. So it creates awareness of various issues and their solutions. Next, it rapidly disseminates information concerning emergency conditions and actions to rectify them. Next, it builds community support for necessary programming, and it allows for interaction with groups and individuals, and it can be used for training purposes and upgrading skill and knowledge. It can develop a target audience by using the social media platform that the individuals typically follow and use easily recognized hashtags such as environmental health. Social media may be the best or even the only way to connect with a certain populations, and people from various cultures and different parts of the world can contribute their reaction and experience to any discussion that are being held on social media. B. Social media disadvantages. Excessive use of social media may result in indifference to major issues. Anyone can put information concerning issues on social media, and hacking can cause loss of data and also insertion of false messages. There are also many scams on social media, and there is a lack of in-person interaction. There is a need to commit resources for managing the social media site, and people can become overwhelmed with information overload. Next, there is a potential for distorting the views of others as well as scientific information. So for the professional and technical sources and uses of information, the information sought has been prepared by professionals who are competent and the material is peer-reviewed. The material could provide best practice for new programs, and updating the material could provide the appropriate competencies to be utilized with the best practices in programming. Governmental agencies can explain existing problems or new problems quickly to citizens in order to try to get resolution. Interpretation of the actual rules, regulation, and laws can be easily displayed for individuals to read and utilize. And researchers can quickly access library collections worldwide. B. Professional and technical sources and use of information disadvantages. It may be necessary to separate information that is meant for children or adults from professionals unless the material is actually a report or in a printed manner. It may disappear from the website as quickly as it was put on. And there have to be special budget lines established for electronic media and for the technical people who must maintain it. Other disadvantages is there is always problem of information overload. The science and art of many fields are changing so rapidly. As the readers get older, the font utilized for many reports is so small that it creates problems and the reader find that it is very difficult to read the information. So first, mass media. In a word, where the level of knowledge expands so rapidly and there are so many sources of information available to public, it is absolutely essential that environmental and health officials have the responsibility to promote the environment and health fields. This means that complex issues, finding and research results need to be translated into the language that is understood by the population and presented in such a manner that the information can be effectively used. All organizations should have an Office of the Public Affairs staffed with individuals who have appropriate training and knowledge. The staff should proactively contact the various media sources and be prepared to work with the individuals as long as necessary to get the messages straight. Next, the channels of communication with mass media may be through hard copies or digitally. 9. Public affairs individuals should always be prepared to not only present information but also respond to a variety of questions that may be very challenging or of a very sensitive nature. It is best to have specific spokespeople work with news media rather than have each individual speak to reporters. It can also provide to the public immediate solutions to the problem. A problem of mass media is that there may be a tendency towards sensationalism. Information overload is an extremely important issue, with the messages of how to prevent, mitigate, and control environmental pollutants and potential disease can easily get lost. Further, individuals interpret the communication from the mass media as well as communication through their own system of values and experience, and therefore appropriate messages of prevention and control may never get through because of received bias. In the event of a very serious outbreak of disease or potentially disastrous environmental situation, the appropriate agency utilizing their public affairs, especially specialists, should immediately notify all mass media and hard copy, verbal, and electronic, and establish a single source of information. And things such as perception must be explained to the public. Next, accurate environmental and health communication is of the greatest significance to the public and to professionals. Mass media transmits knowledge and information that helps protect their constituents as well as society at large and make life more. So, social media. Social media can be used to distribute information about pertinent health risks and appropriate ways of avoiding them or seeking information when an outbreak disease occurs. It also can be an important means of communication for public health surveillance for monitoring. All information gathered from the public observational data must be verified through appropriate public health surveillance sources. And global awareness of how best to select social media data can be utilized to detect outbreaks of disease in certain countries, and epidemiologists can then start to predict where the outbreaks will occur in the future. The Epidemiologists or environmentalists must decide how to best analyze social media data of any type of environmental surveillance. Then the decision must be done on how to analyze any data. B. Professional technical sources and use of information. The following is a list of some resources for professional and technical sources of information. CDC's National Environmental Public Health Tracking Network. This network is a system of integrated health exposure and hazard information and data from a variety of national, state, and city sources. CDC offers a series of webinars on a variety of subjects which may be of value to the professional because it is accessible over the internet and may be used to upgrade the skills and competencies of professionals in the field. CDC provides a national environmental assessment reporting system for data from foodborne illness. CDC provides the Model Aquatic Health Code and Drinking Water Advisory Communication Toolbox, and it provides performance improving resources on organization and how to perform appropriate work for local health departments and environmental health services. B. CDC provides vector controls resource through and integrated pest management including urban rodent survey and other types of survey. It also provides environmental health training in emergency response. US EPA provides interactive maps and quality monitoring that can be used nationwide to determine levels of air pollution. US EPA provides data through its tracking network of drinking water supplies. C. Portals. A portal is a specially designed website. It is a dedicated area for providing information from a variety of sources. The web portal helps an individual to rapidly access specific types of data and enable users to effectively search for information essential for their use. C. Website of Professional Association and Universities Research Center. So website of Professional Association Universities Research Centers provide a large amount of potential information concerning organization and the types of service they can provide. It gives you the opportunity to simply by selecting a box or set of words, avail yourself of considerable amount of information about a particular topic. Professional associations typically tell you about the nature of the work that they do, the work of their professionals, resource available, including educational programs and many other important pieces of information. Third, research or communication should be based on accurate information, and many times accurate information can be only found by reviewing the necessary research work created by experts. Next, researchers prepare and present technical papers for their peers. It is now necessary for researchers to consider the audience that needs to be served. Next, understanding the needs and priorities of the audience will be essential, as well as the use of level of English. And the presentation should help educate, stimulate, and encourage individuals in the audience to utilize what is being said and to think how the new information can help solve problems. The audience should be taught that when you solve a problem or fail to solve the problem, as researchers frequently do. Storytelling. Storytelling is a type of verbal communication that may be very effective. If the story is short, interesting, and applies to the subject matter being discussed, a story can highlight the main points of the discussion and present a simple problem and solution. The story must be interesting and the speaker must be believable and not reciting something he or she has read. Fifth, casual conversation. Casual conversation are part of the normal interaction each day at work. The supervisor or manager needs to be very careful to impart information that is necessary, helpful, or about things which are just fine and not appear to be lecturing or bossing to other individuals. So phone conversation follows the same pattern as the face-to-face conversation, except you do not get difficulty to see the individual's nonverbal reaction to what you are saying. Both of these forms of oral communication are of extreme importance because they typically set the tone for what the other individuals will be thinking, and not only about you but about the entire organization. And that the first person one meets by telephone or the other electronic media personally help decide for the individual what he or she thinks about the organization. Next, visual communication. It reinforces written communication and at times replace them. They bring written communication to life by encapsulating key information that the reader needs to understand and helps the reader grasp the written information clearly. Next, the meeting. Meeting may vary from an informal get-together to the more formal gathering of a specifically structured committee that has very definite duties. So it can be long-distance meeting or meetings may vary from an informal get-together to the more formal gathering of a specifically structured committee that has very definite duties. This process saves a considerable amount of work, time, and money since the participant can avoid unnecessary travel and still hold a successful discussion and arrive at appropriate answer to resolve problems. Two types of meetings include the informational meeting and the problem-solving meeting. And the meeting should be structured, well-planned, and limited to the specific areas to be discussed. And the group leader is constantly in control of the situation. B. Meeting preparation. The three major pre-meeting elements are planning, preparation, and enthusiasm. And it is essential that the chairperson, as well as the member, carefully plan what is to go into the meeting. It is essential that before the meeting occurs, you learn as much as about the topic as possible. And pre-planning avoids this type of problem since the chairperson and the group know what they are going to discuss and how they are going to discuss it and what they hope to achieve from this. 8. Memo writing, including writing an email. The mechanics of a memorandum include the following. The maximum length should usually be between 1/2 and 3/4 of a typewritten page. The memo should be double-spaced. Use a standard format. When you list the information under the headings, use the individual's name and title. Next, keep the subject title short, be grammatically correct, and make sure that you are spelling it. Next, pre-think the reason for the message before you send it. Pre-think possible objections to the message and try to answer them in the original message. And the memo should present only one distinct message. The memo should contain questions or answers to why, what, where, when, how, and who. And the sentence structure should be brief, concise, and clear. The language should be simple and direct, and you are not writing a story or a. Next, the business letter. The business letter should be a maximum of 1 to 1.5 pages long. It should be written on one side of the page. If a hard copy is being prepared, the language of the letter should be formal. Slang and colloquialism are not acceptable, although the tone of the letter should be friendly and courteous, and it should not be chatty. So avoid the use of trite expression. So the 5 essentials of the business letter are: make the letter clear, be concise, make the letter complete and thought, exhibit courtesy, be correct in format, grammar, spelling, capitalization, punctuation, form of numerical expression, and abbreviation. So next, the formal report. The length of the report is based on the problems explored, the type of study conducted, the data gathered, and the requirements of the particular organization. That would be all, and thank you.